Gloriously bright stars, not missionaries. June 8, 2015. Dear ones, you pondered and pined for new you as soon as that title became part of your vocabulary. Now you are starting to truly experience new you in all its fullness, including feeling differently towards those who once made you angry or frightened. The same is happening to many who have no idea they are part of New Earth. You assumed that only those who understood or pined for new you/new earth/new age would shift during this time. That even though you were a beacon, it would take generations for the person down the street, who makes you furious, to become a loving part of New Earth. You sense that New Earth is happening, resulting in a sort of heaven on earth. But most certainly that heaven on earth cannot include those so unlike you. A thought little different from the religious groupings many of you find abhorrent. You cannot be a bit loving in New Earth. Such was an old age stance. You loved someone a bit, including you, but not enough to create a personal sense of heaven on earth. That place, that peace was always out there or up there somewhere. Of course, those old age entities like Jesus, Mohammed, Buddha, and a few others reached that nirvana, but you did not and could not. If you are truly a New Earth being shining in all your glory after years or decades of tenacious work, how is it possible that your evil neighbor down the street can even attempt to be of New Earth? That most certainly there will be a layer of outcasts in New Earth, much as was true when leprosy dictated total isolation for any afflicted. Such thoughts return you to the old age of accepting pieces of you and others, but never their totality, no matter how much you thought you loved them. Old age love was always tainted with an edge of fear, and therefore, limited. As is true now and was true then, if you do not love yourself fully, you cannot love anyone fully. So it is you are beginning to love yourself more deeply every day. And you are starting to see and sense that love in others. Such feelings are a bit uncomfortable. For you expect others to hurt you as you have been hurt over and over in the age of fear. But then, how could you fully explore old age fear if you trusted and loved all, including yourself? In the age of love, how can you possibly ignore the love that radiates from your being? You are beginning to put pieces together in terms of why and how you limited your love. You are beginning to see life through not only your own eyes, but those of your neighbor and anyone you labeled fearful or mean. Not that you wish to spend time with them. Merely that your approach to them within your being is softening daily. The same is true for them. For you requested that New Earth be a safe and loving harbor for all who wish to be part of it. So it is that those you once feared or ignored are evolving to a different persona also, because they are starting to love themselves. Such is a gloriously joyful chain of love. You dare love you, and because that self-love makes you stronger and wiser, you sense others beyond surface appearances, which encourages them to find love within themselves. Of course, your media portrays a very compelling argument that Earth is more evil than ever. And you do not yet have the global vision your media pretends to have. Sex and fear sold more broadcasts than love and peace, until now. You have turned off fearful media in many ways, from not believing, to not listening, viewing, or reading. Not because you wish to be less informed, but because it does not feel good to access many of the materials your media controls. News of hate, anger, and fear are repeated hour after hour, one disaster after another. Until you forget what tragedy happened last week, for this week your media introduce a new, hopeless fear. Your media will shift to a love mode eventually. But for now, the media continue the drumbeat of fear. Something many of you no longer wish to encourage. You are not alone. It is not just you shifting direction and perceptions. This is a global shift. You are beginning to experience love radiating from your being for the least among you. But not as was fashionable in the old age, to feel sorry for the disenfranchised, knowing that without your help their lives could never improve. What you are starting to feel is that the disenfranchised are as capable and interested as you in becoming a loving member of New Earth. And so they are. Does that mean everyone will be a millionaire tomorrow? No, merely that those who thought you needed to carry them to freedom are discovering their own strength. By doing so, they are also moving away from fear and anger to an inner need for joy. This concept is perhaps difficult to understand, for you are the one who has struggled upstream for decades to create New Earth, at least, that is what you believe. In truth, New Earth would not have happened without the input and love of all. Just as you have worked diligently to discover and uncover new you, so it is that others who seem unlikely to ever do so, are starting to crawl out from under their rocks of fear and anger. Not because you are a New Earth missionary, but because you dare shine your light brightly so that those who wish, now most Earth entities, will find their unique path, just as you found yours. New Earth is a universal shift that includes trillions and numbers beyond, of entities that you lit the path for these many years hoping that others would find their way. So they are. New Earth New You is not a missionary process. It is a star system. And you are completing your brilliantly lit path role in extraordinary ways. Allow yourself to believe that the world is shifting rapidly from fear to love, because you dared to be you in all your glory. And so it is. Amen. Channeled by Brenda Hoffman. www.lifetapestrycreations.com